heated debate between Polish and American officials took place on the X platform today over the future of Starlink internet system in Ukraine. It happened on the eve of the US-Ukraine negotiations in Riyadh and amid the ongoing Russian attacks against Ukrainian civilians. And to talk about it, we're joined by Colonel Dr. Zdzisław Śliwa, Dean of the Baltic Defense College. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for inviting.
Thank you for accepting our invitation. Now, before we start our conversation, I'd like to remind our viewers what's the whole fuss about. So, Elon Musk wrote on X, Starlink system is the backbone of the Ukrainian army. The entire front line would collapse if I turned it off. Now to this, Zdzisław Sikorski replies, Starlinks for Ukraine are paid for by the Polish Digitization Ministry at a cost of about $50 million per year. The attacks are threatening the victim of aggression apart. If SpaceX proves to be an unreliable provider, we will be forced to look for other suppliers. And the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio responds to these words by writing, just making things up. No one has made any threats about cutting Ukraine off from Starlink, and say thank you, because without Starlink, Ukraine would have lost this war long ago and the Russians would be on the border with Poland now. Now, this is very much the sort of a narrative we've heard in the Oval Office during Volodymyr Zelensky's visit to Washington. Now, why is it repeated towards Moscow?
Thank you very much for reminding key messages which were presented in those tweets. The first, for me, the tweet from our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister Sikorski, it was just a reflection of reality. There was no aggressive in the text. It was really very polite political message saying there's something wrong. And it was also preceded with a tweet from Musk. Elon Musk clearly stated that it could be out, Starlink could be out. At the same time, those tweets, they happened after last messages from US administration. First of all, the decision to stop military support to Ukraine. The next, we got a shortage of military intelligence to Ukraine. So I think Mr. Musk's message, it was just another step which could be implemented. I think on the other side, from Russian side, from the US side, the answer was very aggressive from both Mr. Rubio, but also especially from Elon Musk, who reflected not so diplomatic way. And one more point, the tweet by Minister Sikorski, it was not related to political leadership of US. It was related to Elon Musk, who is not representing politics in this point. So I do not understand why it was so huge debate about that, because again, Minister Sikorski just reflected reality, because what could happen after Starlink would be. I had a pleasure to talk with Ukrainian officers in my military service, in my service here in Baltic Defense College, and Starlink is playing significant role. Without that, some precise weapon system cannot be used. So I think it is a little too much.
Precisely. But Colonel, is the US still a reliable arms provider for Europe if they can remotely just switch it off, just as Elon Musk threatened to do with the Starlink system, though it is not a military equipment per se? Now, should we buy more jets from the US if they can be turned off remotely from Washington?
I think you raised quite significant and very dangerous aspect of military security in general, sir. Yes, you are totally right. The point is that Europe and of course Poland is using also US hardware, like you mentioned, F-16. We have also tanks. We have also weapon systems, weapon platforms, which are using ammunition which could be procured only from the United States. So any shortage in that sense could be a big challenge, because having platforms without ability to use it, it could be definitely military disaster. On the other hand, I still think that US is a reliable partner. The point is that we have not so many chances in that sense. US is still the most important, the most powerful member of NATO in that sense. And Poland has already presented for a few times that transatlantic relations are important from Polish side. And also when you heard maybe when Mark Rutte, Secretary General of NATO, was talking about Mr. Trump, he mentioned a very nice political statement. He mentioned about good relations. There is no will from NATO and Poland side to antagonize US. Even Vice President Vance, when he was in Poland, he praised Poland for 5%, which is US request toward European NATO members. At the same time, President Duda also visited United States, one of first leaders from Europe.
Absolutely. Now, Marco Rubio is traveling to Saudi Arabia tomorrow to meet with his Ukrainian counterpart, Andriy Sybiha. Now, NBC News reports that it may take much more than just the sheer rare earth minerals deal to push on with the peace negotiations. Now, Ukraine is apparently also to accept territorial concessions to Russia and to conduct elections. Now, how would you comment on these reports if they prove to be true?
Sir, I think you mentioned a very key word in your statement, the word which is deal. The point is that we have too many words connected with deal. Economic deal, military deal, but we are talking about security. We are talking about reliability of relations and also stability of Europe and also Ukraine. The word deal is making a kind of, like with economy, we have tariffs, one day they are in, next day they are out. What about stability? What about predictability? And of course, Ukraine is now under pressure because after that famous meeting on Friday last week before, it was like Ukraine has now no choice. At the same time, we do not know what is behind closed door. I mean, it was top level, presidential level, but we do not know what happened at lower level, ministerial level, chief of defense level. It's not clear if it happened, but definitely it is shaping. And of course, a deal connected with natural resources. It is something what is important. At the same time, remember, President Trump was happy to finish in 24 hours war in Ukraine. He was happy to finish Middle East struggle between Hamas and Israel. Nothing happened for now. He needs also success, but that is putting
maybe this success will come next week. Who knows? The future will tell. Colonel Dr. Zdzisław Śliwa, Dean of the Baltic Defense College, was our guest tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for inviting. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And thank you for watching, and stay with us for more news and features here on TVP World.